Join me right now on Kumite Radio is Jason Knight. He'll be competing at UFC 230 on November 3rd versus Jordan Rinaldi in New York City at Madison Square Garden. What's going on, Jason?
Not much, man. Over here at my sister's, came over here to eat dinner with them and spend a little time with the family. Yeah, trying to get in some quality time before I leave for New York.
Good. Recently, some news came out that there's going to be some MMA trades going down. You know, probably heard the news about Ben Askren and Demetrius Johnson. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Man, I wish they would. I wish Ben Askren would get a shot in the UFC. I understand that some of his fights, they might be boring to some people, but I mean the man has skills, and I believe if he came to the UFC, he would just straight wreck his division. I'd like to see that. And as far as Mighty Mouse, I haven't heard nothing about that. What is he trying to go to Bellator or something?
No, the trade would be Ben Askren goes to the UFC, Demetrius Johnson goes to one championship.
Oh, shit. Okay. Sweet. Hell yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, that's up to Mighty Mouse, I guess. I would hate to see him go. I mean, he's done so much in the UFC, and I think that he's about the only person that has a shot at beating Henry Cejudo. Other than that, that division's just lost.
Yeah, they're saying like that division might not be around for very, very long because Henry Cejudo might just go up to 135 and fight TJ.
Yeah, man. I mean, other than basically Cejudo and Mighty Mouse, like that division is shit down there. I mean, like, I don't say that like they still got good fighters, but no one can compete with those two guys. You know what I'm saying? No one is even on their level. I mean, other than Henry Cejudo, Tim Elliott was the only tough fight that I've ever seen Demetrius Johnson have. And the only reason Tim Elliott was a tough fight because it was a weird stylistic matchup for him. But other than that, Mighty Mouse just went through there wrecking everybody. And the man who beats Mighty Mouse, who's supposed to beat him,
Exactly. We don't even know. Now, you're at the tail end of your camp. I know you've been out in California. But before we talk about that, I want to go back to UFC Liverpool, the controversial split decision loss to Makwan Amirkhani. The first round was a key round, I believe, because you went in there, you knocked him down twice, and you had a few submission attempts. I'm just wondering, how come they didn't judge that as a 10-8 round?
Man, I honestly don't know. The only thing I can think of is, like, if you go look up some of these judges, look up their names and what they do outside of judging UFC. We looked it up not long ago, and not this fight, but the Gabriel Benitez fight, one of the judges was a damn dentist. You know what I'm saying? If you're a dentist, how are you qualified to judge a mixed martial arts fight? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand how I lost the first round. I understand I won the first round, but I don't understand how I lost the fight, period. I mean, if you go by the new rules, a takedown doesn't count for shit unless you do something with it. And if you go back and rewatch that fight, yeah, he was on top most of the second round. Yeah, he was on top most of the third round. But every single time he was on top, we were doing what I wanted to do. He was in my rubber guard. He couldn't throw a punch because if he threw a punch, I was going to submit him. If he tried to pass, I was going to throw up a submission. So what did he do? He sat inside my rubber guard like a scared little bitch and laid and prayed for fucking 2 rounds and got a decision. And, by the new rules, you're not supposed to be able to do that. I mean, the guy on bottom, if I have you locked up where you can't punch me, you can't submit me, how am I not in control? So, I mean, some people will try to argue with me the fact that he was on top of me. He was in control because he was on top. But if you go back and you actually watch the fight with an unbiased eye and pay attention, I mean, count the punches that he lands in the second round once we hit the ground. I guarantee you it's less than 10. count the punches that he lands once we hit the ground in the third round. I guarantee it's less than 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, he barely did anything there. And on top of that, you know, anytime you're in a stalemate position like that, like if you're holding someone to where they can't do nothing, you can't really do nothing, it's not my job to work. You know what I'm saying? It's not my job to try and submit him. It's not my job to try and get up, or it's not my job to do anything. It's my job to sit right there, be patient, wait for him to give me a gap, wait for him to make a mistake so that way I can throw up my submission. Well, instead of the referee standing us up after 30 seconds, he lets us stay on the ground for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, while this guy's doing absolutely nothing inside of my guard. But, I mean, really there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I want to try to get that fight back. I want to, you know, try to rematch him. And I believe, you know, if we would have had that same exact fight, go down exactly the same way, but if we were in America instead of fucking England, I think that fight would have gave the fight to me all day. I mean, even being in England, even if we was in England and you had judges who knew what the hell they were looking at, then I think I would have got the fight all day. You know, I mean, of course, I wasn't able to do as much damage as I wanted to off the bottom. I wasn't able to, you know, throw up the submissions like I wanted to, but the guy did absolutely no damage to me. Yeah, my eye got cut in the first round, but you can fucking thump my eye and I'm going to get cut. You know, I've got, you know, so much scar tissue that, you know, anything will cut me, but I don't understand that decision, man. And I'm going to ask to fight that little chump every chance I get, and hopefully one day he'll man up and take it again.
With that type of refereeing going on and that type of judging going on, do you have to go back and think that you have to change your game plan looking forward?
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I'm too comfortable on my back. You know, when I'm on my back, you can't hardly hit me. I can submit you. If you make one little mistake, I'm going to throw up a submission and the fight's going to be over. So I'm entirely too comfortable there. And, you know, I've gotten away with that for a long time and gotten away with the fact that my wrestling's not very good. You know, I've slowly but surely worked on it, but I've never put in the work that I actually needed to with wrestling because my jiu-jitsu is so good. But, you know, now I'm going to just, you know, constantly trying to get that wrestling better. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to go out to Alpha Male, is not only to get, you know, better coaching as far as wrestling, but to have better bodies to go with. You know, I mean, you could teach me how to defend a takedown all day long, and if I'm defending a takedown against an amateur, you know, who's not a world-class wrestler, I'm going to stop that takedown 10 times out of 10. But then you get it where I go from an amateur trying to take me down, or, you know, like a lower level professional trying to take me down, and then you take me to a world-class wrestler and you let him try to take me down. You know, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, I can know how to defend it properly and everything, but if I don't know how to defend it properly against someone who is very skilled, then, you know, it does me no good. So I'm definitely, you know, I'm going to keep going back out to Alpha Male and, you know, get out there with those bodies that are, you know, already at that next level, instead of, you know, staying here at home. We got a lot of good guys, don't get me wrong, but we have very few that are on that next level, that's already competed at that next level, you know, that compete at that level every day. And, you know, I just can't quite get in the work here that I can there. So, you know, I'm still going to use, you know, Mississippi as my home gym. And Allen Belcher's always going to be my home gym. But from now on, you know, every training camp I'm gonna travel for sure.
Speaking of Team Alpha Male, you went out there, like you mentioned, and got in some work with, they have high-level featherweights, wrestlers. How was that experience, you know, going out there and, like you said, defending takedowns constantly, you know, with these high-level wrestlers?
Oh, man, you know, the first few days was rough because, like, I've got great cardio, great conditioning, but these guys, like, they're next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would feel like I was doing good for a while, and then I would start to fade, you know, just even the slightest little bit. If I start to fade just even a little tiny bit, then those guys over there, they would take over. And, for the first few days, it was hard for me to keep up with them. But, after about a week, I got to where, I could compete with everybody that I was going with. And, I think that's what I need. I need guys that are better than me, guys that are beating me up all the time. And, people that make me work really, really hard to, try to get better. And I love it. I can't wait to go back.
During your time out there, you're away from your family, you're kind of isolated away. Was that very helpful for you in this camp?
Yeah, man, like I was isolated from my family and stuff, and like for me that sucks. I'm a real big family man. I got 3 kids. I got a wife and a son that live with me, and I get my daughters every other weekend. But just not being able to see them for even just that couple weeks, it was hard on me. But I think that in the long run, it's gonna make the fight better. Because I had to suffer, I had to go through sacrifices, and now I get to go out here and make this guy pay for it.
I heard that you drove all the way back from California to Mississippi, which takes a couple of days. Why did you not just fly?
Man, I flew out there, but one of my teammates, really, he's my striking coach. His name's Brandon Davis. He drove from Mississippi to Vegas to watch the Conor Khabib fight. And on the way there, he brought his mountain bikes and he hit every mountain bike trail that he could on the way there. And he drove from Vegas to California to come out and train, hit all the mountain bikes, all the mountain bike trails on the way there. Well, I had to plan on flying back on the 20th, but whenever I went to Cali, I had only booked a one-way flight. So that way if I needed to leave earlier, if I needed to leave later, whatever, that's what the plan was. But, when Brandon got there and he had his car, he was like, why don't you just ride back with me instead of buying a plane ticket and we can go hit some mountain bike trails? It's like, oh, well, fuck it. We'll do it. I'm not really much on mountain biking, but, after about day 4 of, pedaling that bitch up the hill and then riding it downhill, it got to where it wasn't so bad. It was actually pretty fun. And, I mean, the cool thing about it, I just rode a damn mountain bike on the ridge of a mountain, what I'm saying? How many people can say that they got to do that? It was really cool because each place you go to hit these trails, they're so, like, out in the middle of nowhere that, before you know it, you're seeing some beautiful-ass sights that, you never would have saw if you didn't get off the main road, So it was nice.
All right, your upcoming fight at UFC 230, you're facing Jordan Rinaldi. He is a wrestler with a decent submission game. What intrigues you about this matchup?
I think, I think that his ground game's good, but what I'm excited about is, I believe that I can pick him apart on the feet. And I believe that, his defensive wrestling looks really good to me, but his offensive wrestling, I feel like I've dealt with better wrestlers before, and I feel like if I actually get in there and I try to stop the takedowns instead of just pulling guard, then I believe that, I can stop his takedowns and beat the hell out of him standing up. And, that's what I'm going to look to do. I'm going to try to stop every takedown and, pick him apart standing up.
Do you see a size advantage for him since he is coming down from lightweight?
No, I don't really see that he's going to have a size advantage. I think, I think he's going to be, if anything, he's going to be feeling like shit in there compared to me because it's first time that he's having to cut to 145. If he doesn't get it all back, then, he's definitely going to feel like shit. He's going to gas quicker. And, I mean, he's got the mental strain, what I'm saying? He's stressing out right now, eating, probably barely anything, probably drinking nothing but water, worried to death that he's going to make the weight. You know what I'm saying? I ate 2 McDoubles this morning and drank a Coke, and I guarantee you that I make weight just fine.
The UFC has morning weigh-ins. Are those better for you?
Oh, yeah, man, I love it. I usually make most of my weight the night before, and I'll save, maybe a pound or two for the next morning. I get up, 6, 7 o'clock that morning, knock off those last couple pounds, and I'll be one of the first people waiting by the door to get weighed in. And then, by 12 o'clock, I'm already rehydrated instead of, spending half my day in the sauna trying to, lose that last few pounds or whatever.
At the last event, during the weigh-ins, you had a funny moment with I think it was a reporter that told you that you could put your pants back on and, take pictures. Like, you needed to be told that you needed to put your pants back on?
Yeah, man. Nah. They told me to go ahead and put my pants back on and take the picture. And I just asked them, was like, what, you sure you don't want some pictures without them? And, they said, nah, man, we're good. I told him, I said, I'm a little shrunken right now, but I'm not shy,
Yeah, it's good that you're in high spirits during your weight cut. It shows a lot about, your conditioning and your preparations to get before you get into the fight.
Yeah, man. I've had 35 fights now, including amateur and pro. I've had 35 fights altogether. So, if you ain't got the weight cut down by 35 fights, then you obviously need to move up a weight class. I mean, that's just the way it is. But now I've got it down to a science, man. I make weight super easy, and I still eat whatever the hell I want. If it ever gets to the point where I have to go on a diet in order to make 155, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm moving my happy ass up to 155 because I ain't going on no diet. Because I don't eat lettuce and tomatoes and all that shit. I don't eat all the greens. I don't eat all the fruit. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and I eat a lot of fried shit. I eat a lot of fast food. But I try to make sure I keep as much supplements in me and try to substitute all the stuff that I don't eat. But I've got to be like the most unathletic athlete you ever meet in your life. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. You got some guys out there who are athletes first, fighters second. I've always been a fighter. You know what I'm saying? I had to work like hell to become an athlete. I'm not athletic at all. I can't run fast, can't jump high. If I fucking, if I walk out the front door, I might trip over my own feet or something. That's just the way it is. I had to work real hard at this, but fighting comes natural. That's just something I love to do. I like to get out there and bang it out, and that's just the way I look at it. I'm not necessarily an athlete, but I'll fight the hell out of you.
You're on a 3-fight skid right now. What is the mentality going into this fight? Do you feel a sense of urgency?
Man, no, I don't really feel a sense of urgency. I don't really feel like I have to win this fight or anything. Like, I'm going for broke, I'm going out here and I'm making damn sure it don't go to a decision because I'm not getting fucked again, I'm going out here, I'm trying to break my fist on his face and, we're gonna see what happens. But I believe that, I'm exciting enough that they're not getting rid of me if I lose this fight because, I'm going out here and if I lose, it's going to be because he had to work his ass off. And that's just the way it is. Like I'm in a different mind frame right now. I feel like if I go out here and give this motherfucker everything I have for the whole fight, at some point he's gonna break. And that's what we're going for. I'm going out here. I'm gonna break his spirit. I'm gonna break everything about him. And if he gives me just an inch, I'm gonna take a mile.
This is going to be your 9th fight in the UFC. You're only 26 years old. How much have you changed since your debut in late 2015?
Oh, man, my stand-up has came a super, super long way. My jiu-jitsu's gotten a little better. I slowly but surely added tools to it. But, my jiu-jitsu was already solid. My wrestling has came a very, very long way, but I know I didn't show it in hardly any fights except for the Chad Skelly fight because I'm just too damn comfortable on my back, and I'm trying to get to where I go to wrestling first, jiu-jitsu second, and if I can get to that, then that'll be great. But man, I've moved mountains since my UFC debut for sure.
All right, UFC 230, November 3rd. Jordan Rinaldi, New York City. It's going to be a great fight. You know, whenever you're in the cage, you bring excitement. So everybody's looking forward to it. Thank you for your time, Jason, and then good luck to you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day, and I appreciate your time.